So, as I was taking this apart, I was just randomly making videos, and I completely forgot to do an intro. So, this is my intro. Coming up, you're going to see me taking apart this enforcer back here, showing you some of the things that I found neat, and then tearing down the powerhead to try to see what happened. So, stay tuned. So, I got the intake manifold off, and the blown rod on the bottom kind of caused some damage here to this plate. See what's going on? Reed's kind of open, so need a new leaf or reed plate and valves, but top one's okay, just bottom's a little messed up. So here's the electrical box out of the thing. One kind of neat thing is it's got all your normal components. It's got a well, this is a dual coil, but it works the same way. It's basically two coils built into one. Standard power pack, pretty common. Even going back to the Arab engines I usually work on. Cover goes on like so, kind of houses everything, makes everything look all pretty. You can see here it's also got a stator for battery charging or lights. But inside of our little electrical box, they were capped off. So if you wanted to add a power source to this engine, all you need is a rectifier and you got everything else ready to go. So I think that's kind of neat too. So the ignition plate here, if you notice, it's a pretty common ignition plate. This thing is used all the way back until 1983. So this thing would probably fit almost any engine I have. It's brand new. Well, it's not brand new. It's 14 years old, but it's still quite good shape. Also, big thing I noticed, it doesn't use Phillips there anymore. Phillips head screws, uses the actual bolts, which means they're not going to strip out on you. So that's kind of nice. Also, the base ignition plate here uses bolts as well, not the flatheads. So those are going to be a lot easier to get off. If you've ever taken one of those off, you know that those flathead screws sometimes get quite stuck. With these, no problem. So now I'm working on getting the lower unit off. To do that, first you need to remove the entire outer housing here. Pull that off, then you undo this, you can get that off. Then you got the main bolt down inside of here. That's not unique to this type of motor. Every lower unit of this size has the bolts under the tilt pin and then the main bolt here. But let me show you what's funny about this one. How are you getting this bolt out? Oh, you don't. I think this thing is in here for life. I really do, because it ain't coming out. And you can't really do anything. And let me get some light on here. So you see the welds? That's factory. And there's the bolt. So you ain't getting this off to get that bolt out. You sure ain't getting that bolt out. So that's kind of funny. Also, they call this an impeller. I don't call this an impeller. I call this a turbine. Look at that thing. It's massive. Awesome. So I've been working on outboards for quite some time, and my experience is quite up there. I don't really have a whoops moment too often, but this was kind of funny. The power head wasn't coming off. I didn't want to hurt the drive shaft on the lower unit, so I decided to pull the lower unit off first. And when I did that, the entire power head kind of hit the ground, cowling and all. Now, it's already blown up, so no real loss there. But, yeah. It was kind of funny. Apparently the shift rod lower unit, shift rod drive shaft, they're holding in some stuff. So it looks like the only real damage done was the lower mount here broke, and I might have bent the brass fitting there. This engine has one of these Sundeck tack hour meters on it. It shows 53.3 hours. Luckily that didn't break because I plan on prying it off there and putting it on my 15 horse. Well, maybe I might buy a new one, have it at 0 so I know how many hours I actually put on it. But anyway, so only thing I really find broken is this and this bent. So let's get this thing taken apart. What's this thing called? Cylinder head first. So the top cylinder wall has some pitting, most likely from rust, not from anything else. You can still see the cross hatching. It's actually a very nice cylinder wall. The bottom, it's got some issues. So that's cool. Cylinder head, pretty nice. Yep, not bad. Got some pitting from whatever was blown up in there, but no, cylinder head's still good. So you can really see now how obvious the RTV is. Another thing I noticed, all the bolts out of the outers were missing. Maybe somebody's putting it together, didn't quite know what they were doing, decided those weren't needed. But I'm no expert, maybe they're not, who knows. So this is a new one for me. The rod is so wedged in here, it's holding on the front cover here. Oh well, let's hammer it off. Alright, well, let's have a look. Whatever that did, it ain't doing it no more. Well, I know what it did, it's the rod screw. So, don't really see any oil passageways here. I mean, there's really not much there. So that's interesting. So what I meant by oil passageways was small holes like this. That's one. It feeds oil or gas oil to the bottom cylinder. Now, there is one up top, and that one's kind of interesting for me too. Now, let's have a look. Coming in there. Looks like grease. Which then goes under there. So feeds oil through there and the top into here. At least it did. I don't know if that much grease was blocking that or not. There's our upper bearing. See, grease is all wedged into there. If it had a bearing issue, I would say that's a little suspect. But since this is an obvious rod issue, what broke is down here, not up here. I don't want to say that's what killed it. And yeah, I see nothing else really. Well, let's get the top piston out. Need a special tool for this one. Yeah, crank's probably still okay. Well, surprisingly, cylinder walls, they look nice still. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter how they look, considering this little issue. And overall, it's really not that bad. I was hoping for just a blown up grenade inside of there for the viewing pleasure, but we don't get that today. So I'm going to try to pry this off, save the brass fittings, and then go try to find another power head. Also, what's kind of interesting, part number is written right there. Casting number, part number, I don't know what that part number is, but something's written there. So that's kind of funny. So this is kind of interesting. Oh, not really, but worth showing, I guess. See the piston sleeve here? It has this little, let's call it a foot coming off. Completely gone on this side. The other side's nice and ground down. So I don't know where that chunk of metal went, but it's somewhere. So I figured we'd take a few here and show you one of the neat things about this engine. Let's go here to our pump and impeller. This little piece that goes in the lower unit, little exhaust housing. Look what that thing costs. $1,950.99. Wow. Now, let's take a look here at number 4, the turbine as I call it, or the impeller as they call it. $1,470. That is a lot of money. This little housing thing here, not available. So let's look at the rest of the gear case here. Look what this thing costs. Well, it doesn't show, but gear case, rotor, and pump. $10,459.99. Talk about one expensive lower unit. That is kind of neat. So our drive shaft ends in 174, 500 174, 5000 174, excuse me. It's used on 99 40 horsepowers all the way up to 2005 55 horsepowers. So we know that the end of our crankshaft here fits into those crankcases, or those blocks, those power heads, more specifically that crankshaft. So let's look at our midsection. I can't find it on here. So what I'm looking for here is the gasket. Power head adapter to power head. Let's see what that fits. (2004) 40 horse, all the way up to 2012-ish. So if we use these two's lists to cross-reference each other, I'm thinking a 2003, 2004. Although this list isn't really that complete, considering our engine's a 2003 and it's not on this list. A little weird, but oh well. Anyway, so if we cross-reference the two, we might be able to find a power head that fits. The reason I say that, let's take a look here at our crankcase. Cylinder crankcase assembly. Not available new. Part number is 500 5574. Let's go over to eBay. None of these are what we're after. So basically, I'm not getting a power head that's going to directly fit it. I'll have to do some rigging. That's a little concerning. I'll figure something out. I'll keep an eye out for a while. Just for fun here, let's see if we have a 2004 50 horsepower power head. Well, it's an E-Tech, so that's not good. 'Cause ours ain't. Looks like this one might work for $20,000. So not horrible. Because I have $1,000 sitting around. I don't. Looks pretty similar. I suppose I could start checking out part numbers, see if it'll fit, but given the side here, that's exactly how my other side looks. I don't have whatever this round thing is up top. Yeah, it's a little different, but kind of similar at the same time. This one's okay, I guess. It's actually, this won't work at all. Look at all the electronics on it. Looks like a temp sensor. Looks like 2 fuel injectors are mated to the back. So maybe a cylinder head swap, and it might work. Cylinder head and exhaust or intake manifold. Use my carburetors. So yeah, because this is completely different. I don't know. It might work. I start swapping parts around. But anyway, I'll give it a think. See what I'm gonna do, and maybe someday get this thing back together.